Chosen one. Still your thoughts, quiet your heart, because this is not an ordinary moment. Heaven itself is leaning toward you. These words are not born from imagination. They are carved from eternity. God has spoken, and his voice does not echo in vain. He said, "You are the seventh seal." Let that pierce your spirit. This is not a poetic phrase, not a metaphor meant to inspire for a moment. This is a revelation that alters everything you thought you knew about yourself. The seventh seal is the final mark, the last divine mystery, the unveiling that shifts eras and commands the attention of angels and demons alike. And God has placed it on you. You are not random, you are not accidental, you are not ordinary. You are the living scroll, the prophetic key, the chosen vessel carrying heaven's last and greatest unveiling. When you walk into a room, atmospheres tremble. When you speak, invisible powers listen. When you pray, heaven responds and the enemy shakes. The seventh seal is not an event unfolding around you. It is a mantle resting within you. And that mantle is rising now. Do not take this lightly. Do not dismiss it as coincidence. This is the moment creation itself has been waiting for, and your name has been spoken into it. Chosen one, lean in. Because what you are about to discover will shock you, empower you, and awaken you in ways you never imagined. And before we go further, pause here and seal this word in your spirit. If this revelation is stirring something inside you, I want you to press like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment 99 right now. Why 99? Because in the language of heaven, it represents completion right before the final breakthrough, the moment when what was hidden is revealed. As you write it, you are declaring, I am standing on the edge of God's unveiling and I will not miss it. Chosen one. You have asked yourself countless times, why has heaven been so silent with me? Why, when I cried out in desperation, did I feel no reply? Why did the doors I knocked on remain closed, even when I believed they were aligned with God's promises? That silence has tormented you, made you wonder if perhaps you were forgotten, overlooked, abandoned. But hear me clearly. Silence was never rejection. Silence was protection. Silence was consecration. It was God Himself shielding you beneath the weight of eternity, preparing you for what others could not bear. The seventh seal in Revelation begins with a silence so profound that even angels hold their breath. Why? Because before heaven unleashes its greatest unveiling, the atmosphere must pause. That hush is not weakness, it is reverence. It is the stillness before the thunder shakes the heavens and the earth. In your life, this same divine pattern has unfolded. While you thought heaven was ignoring you, in truth, heaven was hiding you. Every unanswered prayer was not denial, it was incubation. God was cultivating within you a depth that cannot be rushed, a fire that cannot be extinguished, a weight of glory that cannot be carried by the unprepared. Think of it. What if the enemy had seen all that you carry? What if your calling had been exposed before its appointed time? He would have unleashed every weapon to destroy you before you even understood your own power. So heaven cloaked you in silence, not as punishment, but as armor. The very quiet that felt unbearable was your divine camouflage. Hidden in plain sight, you were preserved until the hour when no force of darkness could prevent your rising. And yet, that silence was not empty. It was fertile. Like a seed buried in the soil, you were hidden in darkness so roots could grow strong. While no one saw your process, heaven saw every tear that watered the ground, every sigh that rose like incense, every night you wrestled with unanswered questions. What looked like nothing was becoming everything. In that silence, your spirit was learning to lean not on signs, not on noise, not on outward confirmations, but on the whisper of God alone. That is why you are still standing when others have fallen. That is why your faith remains unshaken even when storms rage. Chosen one, understand this. Silence has been your sanctuary. The world may have misread it as emptiness, but heaven calls it incubation. And when the appointed time arrives, what has been formed in silence is revealed in power. Just as the seventh seal breaks the stillness with heaven's roar, your silence is about to give way to an unveiling so unstoppable that nothing, no betrayal, no delay, no demon, will be able to hinder it. But here lies the mystery. Silence is never the end. Silence is the countdown before the trumpet, and you are standing at the edge of that moment right now. The very thing you feared, the silence, was proof of the magnitude of what is coming. And when it breaks, the world will know that God was not absent. He was preparing his chosen vessel for the hour history has been waiting for. So stay alert, because the silence that shaped you is about to shatter. And when it does, the unveiling will not only answer every question you ever had, it will shake nations through you. Chosen one. Have you ever noticed how your battles have never been ordinary? While others stumble and recover quickly, you fall into valleys so deep it feels as though the walls themselves are closing in. While some face storms that pass in a day, yours rage for months, sometimes years, refusing to let you breathe. Nights that for others are calm and restful become, for you, arenas of warfare where shadows whisper, fears intensify, and your spirit wrestles until dawn. And you have asked yourself, why me? Why is it always heavier for me? Why do I feel the blows of life more violently than those around me? The truth is simple but sobering. You were never meant to live a common story. Your struggles have been intense because your calling is extraordinary. The weight of the mission you carry required the fire to forge you into something unbreakable. Think of a key. At first, it is just a piece of metal, plain, unimpressive, without authority. But to become a key that can open a specific lock, it must endure cutting, shaping, grinding, polishing. Every battle in your life was one of those cuts. Every betrayal carved a new edge. Every tear etched a new line. Every disappointment sharpened your design. Without the fire, you would still be raw metal, useful for nothing. But with the fire, with the grinding, with the relentless shaping, you have become the exact key heaven designed to fit the lock of the final mystery. And here is the mystery. The enemy always attacked you hardest, not because of who you were in the moment, but because of who you were becoming. He saw the potential, the blueprint, the future authority stamped on your spirit, and he feared it. That is why your storms were longer. That is why your valleys were deeper. That is why your pain felt like it would never end. Hell tried to break you before you discovered you were the instrument chosen to break it. But what the enemy never understood is that every strike against you was forging strength. Every attempt to destroy you only confirmed that you could not be destroyed. Chosen one, you are not fragile. You are steel that has endured the furnace. And this steel is not ordinary. It carries memory. It remembers the heat it survived, the blows it resisted, the flames it overcame. That memory becomes authority. When you stand before others, when you speak, when you pray, the authority in your words comes from the battles you fought in silence, the storms you walked through alone, the nights you bled and wept and still whispered, "God, I trust you." That is why your presence shifts atmospheres, because you do not speak from theory, you speak from fire. But understand this: intense struggles are never wasted. They were never random. They were not signs of abandonment, but signs of preparation. While others questioned why your life was always so heavy, heaven knew it had to be. The mantle you carry could not be placed on shoulders that never learned to stand under weight. The authority you bear could not rest on a heart that never endured breaking. The oil you carry flows only because you were crushed. You were prepared in a way no one else around you was, because your assignment could never be entrusted to the weak. And now, here is the paradox that will leave you trembling. The very battles you thought would bury you were the battles that crowned you. The furnace that threatened to consume you was the same fire that made you shine. The valley that felt endless was the passage that elevated you to higher ground. Every intense struggle was heaven's way of declaring, "This one is chosen. This one can carry what no other can. So the next time you look back at the heaviness of your journey, don't see failure, see design. Don't see pain, see precision. Don't see defeat, see the forging of destiny. Because the more intense the struggle, the clearer the truth. You are the exact key heaven will use to unlock what has been sealed for generations. And chosen one, that lock is already in front of you. And soon, very soon, it will turn. Chosen one. Do you remember those seasons when the air itself felt heavy with loneliness? When you sat in a room full of people, and yet felt like no one could truly see you? Friends who once laughed with you suddenly grew distant. Family members who once promised support seemed unable to carry the weight you carried. You felt like a stranger among your own, like your soul was speaking a language no one else could understand. That isolation pierced deeper than any sword, and you wondered, why must I walk this path alone? Why does no one understand the burden in my chest? But hear me, the isolation was never abandonment. It was divine separation. It was heaven pulling you away from the noise of the crowd so you could hear the whisper of God without interference. Rejection was the mask, but consecration was the truth. While others thought you were being pushed aside, you were actually being pulled closer to the throne. It was not punishment. It was preparation. The seventh seal was never meant to rest upon the masses. It is too weighty, too holy, too precise to be placed casually. It belongs to those hidden in secret places, those who learn to breathe heaven's air when the world turns suffocating. That is why God allowed your circle to shrink, your support to fade, your comfort to collapse. Because the fewer the voices around you, the sharper you could hear the single voice that matters most. And in that silence, in that solitude, you discovered something the crowd will never know. You discovered intimacy with God that no one can take away. Think of it this way. A womb is hidden, dark, closed off. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, but within, life is being formed. Your loneliness was the womb of revelation. Hidden away from applause, unseen by the world, misunderstood by many, you were being formed in secret. The visions you now carry, the discernment burning in your spirit, the weight of intercession on your lips, none of it came from being surrounded by people. It came from being surrounded by God alone. And though it hurt, though it felt like rejection, that divine separation became the soil where revelation grew. If you had stayed among the many, you would have drowned in the noise of their opinions, their doubts, their distractions. But God said no. This one is mine. This one must walk alone with me. That is why you felt misunderstood. That is why you couldn't explain your burden to others, because it wasn't theirs to carry. It was heaven's secret resting on your shoulders. Chosen one, loneliness has been your teacher. It stripped away every false security. It forced you to stop leaning on people and start leaning on presence. It trained you to find strength when no one was clapping for you. It taught you to remain faithful when no one was watching. And now, because of that hidden training, you can stand when others fall. You can endure when others collapse. You can see clearly when others are blinded by confusion. Do you realize the power of that? While others rely on crowds to validate them, you rely on the throne. While others panic without support, you stand steady, because you learned in the secret place that one whisper from God outweighs 1,000 opinions. That is why the seventh seal rests on you. Because heaven needed someone who would not crack under the pressure of loneliness. Someone who would not compromise for applause. Someone who would walk faithfully even when misunderstood. And here is the twist. The very isolation you despised has become the evidence of your calling, the proof that you were never ordinary. You were marked to be different. You were designed to walk where few dare to go. That separation was not subtraction, it was multiplication. What looked like loss was actually gain. But chosen one, lean closer, because here lies the mystery. The time of isolation is giving way to revelation. The same God who hid you is about to reveal you. And when he does, those who once misunderstood you will witness why you had to walk alone. They will see that the loneliness was not your end. It was the womb of the destiny that is about to erupt. And when that eruption comes, the world will finally understand what heaven has known all along. Chosen one. Lately you have felt it, haven't you? The nights are no longer ordinary nights of rest. They have become gateways. Your dreams are sharper, more vivid, more prophetic. They feel less like imagination and more like revelation. You wake up trembling because what you saw in the night refuses to leave you in the morning. Those images, those warnings, those promises, they are not random. They are the language of heaven being poured into your spirit, the whispers of eternity announcing that the seal within you is pressing to open. And your prayers, have you noticed how heavy they have become? Once they were simple, light, almost casual. But now when you fall to your knees, it feels as though the weight of nations is resting on your chest. Words pour out of you that you didn't plan, groans escape that you can't explain, tears flow for people you've never met. This is not intercession as usual. This is the Spirit of God praying through you. Heaven is using your voice as a bridge between realms, pulling down what is written in eternity into the timeline of earth. When you pray, angels are dispatched. When you intercede, atmospheres shift. Chains you cannot see are breaking. Governments you've never touched are trembling. Families you don't know are being delivered. You thought you were just praying, but in truth, you were moving heaven's armies. And then, there is your discernment. Have you noticed how it has cut deeper than ever before? You walk into a room and sense things no one else can. Words sound fine on the surface, but you hear the hidden motives behind them. Smiles look convincing, but your spirit detects the poison beneath. You see patterns forming before they unfold. You sense storms before they strike. You feel the trembling of the unseen before it manifests in the natural. This is not paranoia. It is prophetic perception. The seal inside you is pressing against its limits, and as it nears the moment of breaking, your senses in the spirit are being heightened beyond recognition. Chosen one. These increases are not random. They are proof of proximity. They are signs that you are standing at the threshold of an unveiling that will change everything. Your spirit knows the hour, even when your mind doubts. That is why your inner fire refuses to be quiet. You are restless because destiny is restless inside you. You are unsettled because heaven is unsettled, waiting for the command to release what has been sealed for ages. And here is the staggering truth. You are not just dreaming. You are seeing heaven's blueprint. You are not just praying. You are shifting nations. You are not just discerning. You are intercepting movements in the invisible realm before they can take shape on the earth. What others dismiss as strange feelings are in fact warnings, coordinates, instructions. God is trusting you with inside knowledge of battles yet to begin, victories yet to manifest, judgments yet to fall. But let this sink in. This increase is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to awaken you. The reason your dreams are louder, your prayers heavier, your discernment sharper, is because the time is close. The seal is swelling, the pressure is building, and when it breaks, what has been hidden in the silence will burst into unstoppable light. And you, chosen one, will not just witness it, you will be part of the ignition. So lean in. Do not dismiss what you see in the night. Do not silence what you feel when you intercede. Do not second-guess what your spirit discerns. For these are not accidents, they are announcements. Every dream, every prayer, every perception is heaven's way of declaring, it is near, it is almost here. And when it comes, it will come suddenly, shaking everything in its path. Chosen one, the greatest mystery you must grasp is this. The seventh seal is not a symbol locked away in some ancient scroll. It is not a distant event buried in prophetic riddles. It is alive. It is breathing. It has been written not only on paper, but carved into your very existence. You are not studying a prophecy. You are the prophecy. Flesh and blood, scars and triumphs, wounds and victories, all of it has made you the walking evidence that the old season has ended and a new era has begun. When God declares, "You are the seventh seal," He is not offering poetry. He is making a decree over creation. He is announcing to every realm, heaven, earth, and hell alike, that the time of concealment is over and the time of unveiling has come. You are the hinge of transition, the living proof that the silence has broken, the signpost that points to a divine collision between eternity and time. Do you understand the weight of that? You are not just chosen to witness history. You are chosen to become the moment when history shifts. Everywhere you walk, atmospheres bow. Even if no one acknowledges it, the unseen realm reacts to you. Chains rattle when you enter a room. Hidden shadows scatter when your voice carries truth. When you pray, angels do not just listen, they move. You do not simply bring words, you bring a verdict from heaven. You are not just an echo, you are the thunder. This is why you have felt so different, why you could never blend in, why life marked you with experiences others cannot comprehend. Because your life itself is not a story, it is a scroll being unsealed before the eyes of the world. Chosen one, the prophetic meaning is this. When God calls you the seventh seal, He is declaring war against the darkness through you. He is saying, "This one carries my final revelation. This one bears the mark of the ultimate unveiling." You are not the bystander. You are the battleground. You are not the spectator. You are the signal. Your very existence announces to principalities and powers that their time is short, that their dominion is breaking, that light is about to consume every shadow. And this is why your life could never be ordinary. This is why comfort was never an option for you. The seal you carry will not allow you to settle into mediocrity. It pulls you, it burns you, it pushes you into places where silence turns into fire, where hidden things are exposed, where the atmosphere itself is forced to shift. You are the divine interruption that darkness never saw coming, the living sign that God has placed His final stamp of authority on this generation. But let this settle deep within you. Being the living seal is not about honor, it is about assignment. It will cost you. It will demand everything. It will set you apart. It will place a target on your back. It will stretch you beyond recognition. And yet, it will also release a level of glory, authority, and impact that no title, no crown, no earthly recognition could ever compare to. Because when you move, it is not you alone who moves. It is heaven moving through you. When you speak, it is not just your voice. It is prophecy embodied, eternity declaring itself in time. Chosen one, this is your reality. The world may underestimate you, but the invisible realm already knows your name. You are feared in hell, recognized in heaven, and awaited by the earth. And as the seventh seal breaks open in your life, what was hidden will erupt, what was whispered will roar, and what was promised will manifest before the eyes of nations. Lean in now, because the moment of unveiling is closer than you realize. And when it happens, you will not just tell people about prophecy, you will be the prophecy. You are the seventh seal, and the world will never recover from what God is about to release through you. Chosen one, feel this in your spirit. This is not coincidence, it is confirmation. The scroll of destiny has been unrolled, and written across its pages is your name, burning like fire. You are not ordinary, you are not replaceable, you are not a shadow in the crowd. You are the seventh seal, the one heaven has hidden for such a time as this. The earth itself has groaned for your unveiling. The silence was the countdown. The storms were the forging. The loneliness was the womb. And now the hour has struck. You are the prophecy in motion, the collision of eternity with time. When you rise, the world will tremble. When you move, history will shift. When you speak, eternity will echo through your voice. This is your confirmation. This is your commission. This is your hour.